common. I'm thinking of law enforcement, where comrades go down and you still have to go to work that day. And this game will take care of that for the Angels right now.
Yeah, you would think so, but it's just so difficult just to, just seeing their expressions. I know they felt much better today as compared to yesterday as far as being such a close-knit group and having Mike Scioscia communicate with them. But this, I talked to Sean Figgins before the game. He related to a story that would happen in Colorado with a friend of his, same type of thing that happened to Nick Adenhart. It's really tough. I mean, but the guys are so supportive of each other, which is the most important thing. Anytime something like that happens, you need your best friends, and these guys are all together for one purpose, and that's to go out and honor Nick Adenhart, because he didn't play a long time, but he touched a lot of people. Spring training was exceptionally long this year, so everyone got to know him even more so. And he was, we talked about him being a little bit shy, but around the guys, he was a good. He had a lot of fun and a great smile, a great sense of humor, and it'll be tough, but the guys are ready to go. Like Mike Scioscia said, between the lines, it's a little bit of relief for them.
I think so. And as I said, there's a vacancy now, and a member of your family isn't here anymore. But that's where the other family members can help.
And then, of course, you got Jared. Clearly, you could see by when he was warming up how close he was to Nick. And the big thing is, as a pitcher right now, you want to go out, you want to throw a perfect game.
Sure.
But you also got to remember, too, is you got to stay within yourself. That's what he learned last night, particularly in that last game out in that 6th inning, which he threw exceptional. All 7 pitches were strikes. He stayed back and he figured it out and he smiled. That's what the guys got to do, and that's what Jared's going to have to do tonight.
And that'll be the memory, I think, that lasts. 7 pitches, all strikes, 3 up, 3 down. Nick Adenhart.
All his pitches, it was perfect, and he just did a symbol for Nick behind his number there. And Jared, it's such a great friend. It's an honor for him to be on the hill for the Angels tonight.
And the game goes on. Strike one to Jacoby Ellsbury of the Boston Red Sox here at the Big A tonight. Might be playable in foul ground for Kendry Morales. Nope, not quite. And don't think for a minute that the Red Sox didn't feel something watching that, because in this fraternity, we all know, really anywhere in life, it could have been us. It could have been anybody.
I went by their dugout and talked to a number of the Red Sox, and they were touched. I mean, it's difficult, and we mentioned that fraternity of baseball players, and not too many people. It's a dream. That's what everyone says. It's their dream to get to the major league level, and here you are, one of your guys that fulfilled their dream, taken away so early.
0-2 to Jacoby Ellsbury. Jared Weaver and Tim Wakefield, the matchup tonight. And the first Red Sox batter of the night strikes out. And let's take a look at the lineup that Weaver will face tonight after Ellsbury. Dustin Pedroia, David Ortiz, Kevin Youkilis, J.D. Drew, Jason Bay, Mike Lowell, Ned Lowry, and George Kataris is catching. That's still a very, very good lineup. Pedroia takes ball 1.
The MVP last year was such a solid performer. Puts the ball in play so well and does so many things. Not a big guy, but he can do a lot with that bat. Jarrett last year at 11-10, a ERA 4.33 in 30 starts. He's looking to get over that 200 inning plateau this year. He kept telling me he's worked hard. Had a little bit of a slow spring to start out, but got stronger as it went by.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Dustin Pedroia. Joe West is the home plate umpire tonight. Two and two.
See that Nick Adenhart, the 34 on the hat for Jared. It's certainly weighing in their heart, but they want us to go out there and perform and make him proud as he looks down on us.
In the air, foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Pedroia. Escobar talking about his hitting exploits. In the air to center field, but Torrey Hunter is right there. 2 up, 2 down. And Big Papi coming up. Papi's the DH. 23 home runs last year. Off the end of the bat, and the shift is on, and it works. His Tourist catches the soft line drive, and Jared Weaver sets him down in order. Game tonight. The Angels line up. Figgins, Kendrick, and Abreu the first 3 here in the first inning. Then Vladdy, Torrey Hunter, Kendry Morales, Gary Matthews is playing tonight. Jeff Mathis behind the plate, and his Tourist at shortstop, batting 9th against Tim Wakefield.
Well, you're going to see a lot of knuckleballs. Occasionally when he's behind in the count, he will throw a curveball, and also will try to sneak a fastball by you, but as a guy that gives you a lot of innings for that Red Sox team.
There's the knuckleball to start Figgins. Tim Wakefield, 42 years old now, and he'll be 43 before the season's over in August. Strike to Figgins. Sean 2 for 10 so far in this young season. 1-2. Plate umpire Joe West looks like he's in a strike calling mood.
Yeah, he's a guy that, you know, he's got a pretty consistent strike zone, not necessarily a pitcher's strike zone, but so far tonight he does.
And Figgins is out. The Red Sox defensively around the infield, Youkilis, Pedroia, Lowry, and Lowell. Jason Bay in left field, Ellsbury in center, and J.D. Drew in right.
Kevin Youkilis, a Gold Glover there at first base. Some time that, you know, during the wintertime, they were thinking about putting him back to third, and Teixeira's name was bandied around as being a first baseman free agent they were going to sign.
Howie Kendrick comes up empty on the knuckleball. 1 ball, 1 strike. On the ground to shortstop, Lowry. retires Kendrick. 2 down for the Angels. And Bobby Abreu coming to the plate. Bobby Abreu, 3 hits so far this season. Wakefield is from Melbourne, Florida. He was born there, raised there, and still lives there. So he must like it there. Graduated from high school in Melbourne in 1984. Two balls, no strikes to Bobby Abreu.
Very patient, 2-0 count. This is the time where Wakefield has been throwing more curveballs. I want to try to drop one in there just to be able to throw a strike.
3-0.
I wonder with a knuckleball how many other pitches he have. That's a knuckleball once again.
And he walks Abreu on 4 straight. Now Vlad Guerrero coming up.
Used to seeing that 1 for a fastball, 2 curve, 3 slider, wiggle fingers with the 4 is a changeup or split. But a knuckleball sign is a 4.
Well, Vladdy's done well against Tim Wakefield. Very well. On pitches that you would think Vladdy might want to just jump out of his socks to try and hit. Wakefield's been with the Red Sox since 1995. It's pretty good longevity, isn't it?
And also, anytime you see a knuckleball pitches, chances are your running game is going to be going. It's a difficult thing just to be able to catch the ball, let alone be able to make a throw after the ball is received.
And there goes Abreu, and the ball is not caught by Kataris. Abreu turns and holds at second base. That's a stolen base for Abreu. He was running on the pitch, his first of the year.
It's only his first game with Tim Wakefield, so it's an adjustment to be able to catch that knuckleball. Almost got him on his heel of his wrist. Knuckleball, no movement, no seam movement whatsoever, but it dances up. If it's a warmer night, it dances even more so. A little cooler tonight, so you wonder if it's going to have that much dip on it. Of course, you're going to see a different type of catcher's mitt, almost like a first baseman's mitt.
2-0 to Vladdy, 6 straight out of the strike zone from Tim Wakefield. Oh,
that had some amazing movement on it. Almost like you're throwing a wiffle ball. Wakefield's had his troubles against the Angels throughout his career. 9-12 with an ERA at 4.8.
And a strike. Vladdy had tossed the bat away.
Definitely above the belt. A lot of times that in the neighborhood 3-0 pitch is called a strike quite a bit.
Back-to-back walks. And Vladdy, who doesn't really care to walk too much, takes one here. Torrey Hunter at the plate.
That's some good numbers too against Wakefield. 378 with 3 home runs.
The Red Sox lost to Tampa Bay 4-3 yesterday. Flew all the way across the country. (1-0) to Torrey Hunter. And that one gets him. And it also loads the bases.
It loads the bases, but it also is a situation, anytime you're a knuckleballer, there's always a possibility of a wild pitch or a pass ball. It's John Farrell, their pitching coach, coming out. And it's having a tough time controlling this knuckleball. It started on the middle part of the plate and ran and hit Torrey right in the numbers. There's Exmo. That's amazing. No movement at all on the seams. Just tumbles in and ran inside and got Torrey.
With 2 outs, walk, hit batter. Abreu is at third, Vladdy at second, and Torrey Hunter at first. With 2 outs, and Kendry Morales stepping in. Wakefield's last 11 pitches, only 1 strike. That was close to being a wild pitch.
Yeah, George Guitars is having a tough time. He looks like at times trying to stab at this knuckleball, and that's not an easy task. Get a lot of playing time, then you got to catch a knuckleballer. It's not easy.
(1-0) to Morales. The Angels trying to put something on the board in the first inning. 1-1. That one danced pretty nicely. 1-2 to Morales. This is the first of 9 regular season games this year between the Angels and Red Sox. The Sox will be back here again fairly soon in May.
In the regular season last year, the Angels had the Red Sox number, thrown 8-1 against them.
Yeah, the Red Sox were 1-0. So you think about the Red Sox, you always think of, oh, they're Angel killers, but the Angels have actually won the last 8 games between these 2 teams. 8 in a row. 1-2 pitch. 2-2. Knuckleball pitchers like to tell you, oh, I have no idea where it's going. I think they have a little bit more control than they let on.
You would hope so. And you're at the mercy of the home plate umpire really calling a strike. It's almost a guessing game behind the plate if you're an umpire.
2-2 to Morales, and he pops it up foul. Kataras, the catcher, makes the catch. So the Angels load him up with 2 outs, but fail to score. No score after 1. West presents Angels Baseball, brought to you by Carl's Jr., the Kentucky Bourbon $6 burger with bacon, bourbon glaze, and crispy onion straws. New at Carl's Jr. By Howard's, the official appliance and flat screen superstores of the Los Angeles Angels. And by Heineken, Give yourself a good name. What kind of a feel do you get from the crowd tonight so far, Gooby?
It's one of those things. They're still a little bit, they're stunned and heavy heart, but I think they would just love just to let it out and cheer at some point for the club and just let the emotions go in that way.
I did too. It would be a great night to give the fans who have been so amazing here the last 24 to 36 hours something to feel great about, wouldn't it?
No question. And then, of course, then you're facing an arch rival, a great team in the Boston Red Sox, which would make it doubly nice.
Broken bat by Youkilis, and he drops one into center field. Weaver shattered his bat, but Youkilis, and you can hear there are a few Youkilis fans here, gets a base hit out of it.
And most times when the ball's flared into the outfield, breaking a bat, it's an elevated pitch, and that's what it was, a good pitch. But Youkilis so strong. Plates it off and gets a base hit into center.
That's the first hit in the game for either team. And the batter now, J.D. Drew. Oh, 0-1 to Drew. I think you're absolutely right, Gooby. The crowd is definitely, right now, here in the early innings, much quieter than I think we've ever heard an Angels-Red Sox crowd.
You just sense they don't, you just don't know what they're thinking and what they should do at this particular point.
Oh, 0-2 to Drew. A lot of people brought signs tonight. And down he goes. Drew strikes out on 3 pitches.
Well, that's some pain on the inside part of the plate. Another good fastball by Jared Weaver. Commanded it very well. 92, 93. Hits that inside corner. Nice job by Jeff Mathis behind the plate. A lot of times a pitcher gets all that credit, but for me, it's always been the catcher, how you set them up and how you frame those pitches. It's that communication between catcher and pitcher.
Jason Bay at the plate for Boston. 1-0 to the Red Sox left fielder. 3 for 10 in the early going. If you haven't noticed, the Red Sox are debuting a new alternate road uniform tonight with the blue top along with that hanging socks emblem on their hats. Not on the helmet, but on the hat you might have noticed Wakefield had that 2 red socks. And there are the hats. And that's somewhat of a new look, just an alternate cap and jersey for the Red Sox this year. Two and 1 to Bay. Now 3-1.
Borderline pitches that were real close. Jared Weaver looked like he wanted that pitch on the outside corner. But Joe West behind the plate didn't give him it.
And that one was low and outside. So the Red Sox have 2 men on as we look into the Angel dugout. And Nick Adenhart is being remembered there by the players who have hung his jersey up in the dugout tonight. Everywhere you look, there's a 34 or somebody with one of the 34 pins that some of us have. And of course out there in center field. Mike Lowell at the plate. Takes strike one.
I'll tell you, Rory, there's no better place than that 34 to be on that mound, the back of the mound. That's a perfect spot. So Jerry Weaver wrote NA right below the 34. It's beautiful.
Weaver probably knew Nick Adenhart as well as anybody on this team right now. I think Dustin Mosley obviously knew him well. Players that played with him in Salt Lake last season.
Yeah, when you think about all the young players, particularly on the pitching staff, all these guys came up through the minor league system. You're riding on the bus for 14 hours at times. You really get close with your teammates. And John Lackey, we talked about him being a veteran. He certainly was, to be able to be out there in the mound holding his jersey in the pregame.
It's 0-2 to Mike Lowell.
I mean, John, you know, he's been around for a while, since 2002. So he's the veteran of the staff, and he's the glue to bring these guys together. And you look at the rotation right now, Jerry Weaver and Joe Saunders are the veterans of that staff.
I'm going to tell you this. I don't know what they're talking about, but it's just nice to see him smile right now.
Yep.
Lined into right field, and Abreu, the umpire takes a second look and says, yes, he caught it. Or Matthews, rather, in right field today.
Yeah, Gary got a good jump on that. That was a tough one. That's an in-between play. Either you come in there, you commit to making that sliding catch, or you play it on a hop. It's a tough one. It's hit hard. Gary with a great jump. Great defensive play. Right-handed batter. That ball's going to be sinking down, and Gary coming sliding in. Barely got that above the grass.
Ed Rapuano did a good job. The umpire went out as far as he had time to go out and really gave that a second and third look before he signaled out. He
Nice
wanted
job.
to see if maybe it popped out of his glove. Good play by Matthews. 2 outs in the inning. And Jed Lowry at the plate. Lowry with 1 hit this year. Pops it in the air into left field. That's where Abreu is. He makes the catch, and the Red Sox are gone in the second. After an inning and a half, no score. The Angels and the Red Sox playing baseball tonight. No scores. We go to the bottom of the second inning. Gary Matthews leads off against the knuckleballer, Tim Wakefield.
Batting right-handed, he's switch hitter. You see that a lot when a switch hitter is going against a knuckleball. They'll bat right-handed. You have a better chance of knuckleball going into the big part of the bat.
Gary's been on the field in the first 3 games, but this is the first time he's been at the plate. 2-0 to Matthews. Wakefield was wild in the first inning. He walked 2 batters and hit a batter, but got out of it.
He's thrown 27 pitches, only 10 strikes so far.
Did you ever try just even fooling around to throw the knuckler?
No, I tried it, during batting practice stuff. I just couldn't do it. It's definitely not an easy pitch. If it was, there would be a lot more guys trying that pitch.
The 3rd walk already given up by Tim Wakefield.
Well, you can see how that knuckleball dances now with Gary Matthews Jr., who ran exceptionally well in spring training. Stolen base threat here against the knuckleball. You can see how difficult it is for guitarists to be able to make the play behind the plate, catching it, so could be off to the races.
There aren't too many pitching coaches either that enjoy coaching that pitch, because it's almost always something that they themselves never threw. So to be a successful big league pitcher as a knuckleballer, you better have a pretty doggone good one, or they just won't mess with you.
Completely different mechanics than a normal so-called pitcher would be. Everything's different.
Jeff Mathis waiting. Wakefield trying to keep Gary Matthews close. One and 0. Wakefield is beginning his 15th season in a Red Sox uniform. Only 16 pitchers have ever spent 15 seasons or better with one American League club. Striking to Mathis. The last one to do it, they're mostly way back in time. The last one to be with the same team 15 years was Dave Steed with the Blue Jays, who was actually with Toronto for 19 years.
Dave Steed had one of the best sliders you'll ever see from a right-hander.
15 years Steve was with Toronto. Yeah, he was one of the best pitchers in the American League. All time on that list, Walter Johnson. He was with the Washington Senators for 21 years. Wakefield working slowly on Jeff Mathis.
It's usually a different sign. You're maybe going over to pick off.
Like Matthews had a decent jump if he wanted to run there, but he put the brakes on.
The knuckleballer is going to do slide steps. They're going to vary their times over to first. They're going to hold the ball, step off. Really, that's your only defense against a running game.
Mathis lines one into left field, base hit. And the Angels have the first 2 men on, starting the 2nd inning. Meiser is tourist coming up. Wakefield has faced 8 batters now and has no first pitch strikes.
Knuckleball once again coming dancing up, but elevated enough. Jeff Mathis to get the good part of the bat and fight it into left field for a base hit.
You know who had and still has a terrific knuckleball? Angels bench coach Ron Renicky. Sometimes you'll watch him play catch before a game and he starts throwing that thing and it's tough to handle. He considered, in fact, at one time when his playing career was over, trying to make a comeback as a knuckleball pitcher. He still has a real good one.
Well, it's valuable, too, to have a coach like that. He can throw the knuckleball during batting practice so you can get a feel for that knuckleball, how it comes in.
Is Torres grounds it to third. That's a fair ball and safe at second base. Pedroia made a nice stop as Lowell went for the unconventional double play.
Yeah, it looked like he had a better shot at throwing across the diamond to get his Torres at first base. But Pedroia did a nice job of saving this. One of those plays where he was thinking maybe in the line of a possible triple play. Pedroia had a dive. Oh, actually it hit Jeff Mathis. Stepped on the bag, thinking in lines of getting a lead runner there, but it gets away, it hits Mathis. Yeah, throw, got a break. Good getting out.
1 out, 2 men on. Sean Figgins at the plate. Figgy was called out on strikes his first time up. Not too many guys still around here from that 2002 team. Figgins hits a pop fly and that drops in between the left fielder and the center fielder. It's going to score a run. The ball's off of Lowell's glove, but it's backed up by Wakefield. When that left the bat, it looked like it might be an out.
Talk about perfect placement. Ellsbury was shaping Sean Figgins over a little bit to right center. Another dancing knuckleball on the outside part of the plate. Split him in the outfield very well. Jason Bay, Ellsbury unable to make the play. Let's get a run across in that one. Sean Figgins batted left-handed. So another switch hitter that so far 2 Angel hitters, switch hitters have hit left-handed against a right-handed throwing knuckleball, and 2 others have batted right-handed against them. It's whatever you're comfortable, particularly if you're a switch hitter.
Howie Kendrick at the plate now as the Angels have a 1-0 lead in the second inning. And runners at second and third. The Angels have finally cashed in one of the walks. And they still have a couple of men on base. Is Torres and Figgins. And that one's into left field for another base hit. Here comes Figgy to the plate. The throw by Bay will not get him. 3-0 Angels.
Boy, I love what Dino Ebel, third base coach, does there. He's read the scouting reports on Jason Bay. Good outfielder, pretty strong arm, but on that play right there, the ball wasn't hit particularly hard. He took the chance to be able to send Sean Figgins home. Ball out over the plate once again, not hit particularly hard by Howie Kendrick. The accurate throw. Sean Figgins is too fast. Scores the third run.
Bobby Abreu up there now. Kendrick dives back in. Howie with a couple of RBIs. Figgins and Kendrick, neither one hit the ball very hard, but they were in the right spot, weren't they?
I think it's putting the ball in play against a knuckleball. Do you feel pretty good about it?
Abreu walked his first time up. There goes Kendrick. The throw by Kataris, and they will not get him. The Angels running against the knuckleballer. Howie Kendrick a stolen base.
Well, that's a tough one if you're a catcher because your throw-out percentage goes down considerably. But when you're in a knuckleball, you're just happy to be able to catch the ball initially. And another nice jump by an Angel base runner and Howie Kendrick. Quick release, but there's just no way. It's too good of a jump.
In the air to center field. Here comes Ellsbury to play it on a hop. Kendrick will be held up at third. And this has the makings of a possible big inning for the Angels now.
Another ball that wasn't hit real hard either. Off the end of the bat, but the knuckleball just dances so much. Bobby Abreu did a nice job of fighting it off again. A knuckleball would give up a lot of fly balls.
Well, the favorite expression of managers these days is squaring it up. Nobody's really squaring it up.
No, but it's also a tough task to be able to hit a knuckleball, but a lot of fly balls. when you square it up, though, completely like Vlad has done against Wakefield in the past with the 5 home runs, that ball gets crushed. But this is enough to get it into the outfield.
Just enough to get the base hits to score so far 3 runs. The Angels have 4 hits and a walk already in this inning. With Vladdy up there, runners on the corners and 1 out, and Vlad hits one to Pedroia. The Red Sox turn an inning-ending double play. That might have been the hardest hit ball of the inning. But the Angels take the lead 3-0 after 2. Three to nothing Angels. Top of the 3rd inning coming up. Jared Weaver had a 1-2-3 first inning. Stranded a couple of runners in the second. And starts George Kataris with one a little bit high and outside. Kataris had solid AAA numbers a year ago.
Well, that with pretty good power, too. Making his debut tonight.
1-1 to the Red Sox catcher. Breaking ball from Weaver, strike 2. Jared Weaver staked to a 3-0 lead. Popped in the air. Coming back Mathis, but it's a foul ball. One ball, 2 strikes.
Early in this game, Jared throwing a ton of strikes. 31 pitches. He's thrown 22 strikes so far. So Jared's on his game using that fastball. Good velocity also.
Lined foul by Kataris. Well, Jeff Weaver's career isn't finished yet. He's in AAA with the Dodgers.
Yeah, he had a pretty good spring for him. Almost made the club. He's making an adjustment to a bullpen pitcher now. Was a starter throughout his career.
That's on the outside corner. Strike 3. The Angels took the field tonight with their minds on Nick Adenhart. Dustin Mosley spoke before the game.
For them and their family, and I know he has a little brother, you guys should be so proud of who he was and who he had become. And he was growing day in and day out. I saw it from last year to this year, the growth and maturity and the work ethic that he came to the park with. So everyone that knows Nick, all his friends, everybody, they're all proud. I'm proud to know him. And, you know, I'm sure God's proud to know him too right now.
Boy, another emotional moment. Dustin Mosley. There's a ground ball up the middle and a base hit for Jacoby Ellsbury.
It was well said too by Dustin,
Yeah,
and also there was a question raised to him in the press conference about how Nick Adenhart called his dad and said, "Come on out. I think this is going to be a special night." And it was a special night for Mr. Adenhart to be able to come out and watch his son pitch such an exceptional game. And it certainly, watching and listening to Dustin throughout that press conference today, it was very emotional for him. And you could see how he was touched by Nick Adenhart.
Oh, no doubt about it. And he talked as much about Nick, the person, as Nick, the pitcher. Ellsbury steals second and the throw sails into center field. Jacoby Ellsbury on to third base. Stolen base number 2 on the year and an error on Mathis.
Well, Mathis really didn't have much of a chance at that. Ellsbury had an outstanding jump. See 3-4 steps before the ball was even let go of Jared Weaver's hand. Mathis not much of a chance. Ball sailed as he tried to hurry up his throw.
And the count 1-0 to Dustin Pedroia. The infield back, with the Angels leading 3-0 here in the third. They're not drawing the infield in right now. This guy's a battler, Pedroia. Just about every level as he came up, he heard the same thing a player like David Eckstein heard. Not big enough. Not strong enough. Not fast enough. But he went on to be a star at Arizona State. And now a terrific major league player. (3-0) to Pedroia. Strike one.
And he's got the right attitude too. I mean, he's a guy that's a confident player. Pedroia is. He's had some success too against the Angels. We saw that last year when he broke up John Lackey's no-hitter at Fenway Park. It's a guy that puts the ball in play.
And he draws a walk. I remember Lackey saying after that he didn't want to see that guy coming up right then. It wasn't Big Poppy that he was worried about or any of the other sluggers. He just didn't want to see Pedroia coming up.
Nothing worse than, especially in that kind of a magnitude of a game you have going, a contact, pesky hitter, because you really can't set him up because he hits the fastball that's elevated real well too and fights off breaking pitches, doesn't strike out a lot, so he's going to put it in play. You just hope at that point he puts it in play against one of your fielders that can get him out.
John almost had it. That no-hitter against the Red Sox. Here's Poppy with one out and runners on the corners for the Red Sox. Oh, and 1.
Perfect pitch. Ortiz looking fastball in that spot. He's going to let it out. Jared Weaver dropped a changeup on him. Going with the sinking fastball in this one.
No balls, 2 strikes.
Good pitch there, fastball too. After a changeup, fastball looks even harder. See, David Ortiz was late on that one.
He has not hit a home run yet this season. The shift is on. The Angels look for an inning-ending double play.
After that changeup once again.
And Ortiz takes it. Up the middle is Torres is behind second base. So the Angels trying to take that away from Poppy, and Ortiz lined it right to his Torres his first time up.
He wants a slider here to try to get him to swing over top of this, get a strikeout.
Two and two. Talking about that first at bat, Ortiz hit a soft line drive right back up the middle, but with the shift on, that's an out.
That is perfect scouting. I mean, that's an automatic hit everywhere else. The Angels, Ron Renicky does such a good job of working that computer, like, be able to situate the defensive players in perfect position.
Pedroia at first. Ellsbury at third. Ortiz at the plate. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Ortiz hit .250 this spring. And Weaver has him 2 and 2.
Another changeup, all speed pitch. David Ortiz with the wrist issues last year missed some games. And it looked like you could get a fastball up and in on him last year, but he said he's healthy and ready to go right now. But dangerous pitch when you go fastball on the inside part of the plate against David Ortiz. Go fastball, put it on the outside corner.
Mathis sets up there. Weaver hit the target, but Ortiz fouls it away. Poppy over the last 6 years has been dynamic. In there with A-Rod and Pujols.
That's called consistency.
That one was right down the middle of the plate, and Ortiz hits another fly ball foul.
Definitely a battle. He's had success coming in the game, hit .463 against Jared, and Jared knows that. Every batter, every pitcher knows who you've had success against and who you've not had success against.
This is the 8th pitch of this at bat to David Ortiz. And he steps out for a moment. 3-0 Angels in the third, but the Red Sox threatening. Well, he's fouling off a lot of pitches. Making Weaver work hard.
He's fighting off some tough pitches too. That was another real good changeup by Jared.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Line drive center field. Torrey Hunter is there to make the running catch. Ellsbury will tag up and score, so Poppy drives in a run, but Torrey Hunter made a nice play, and it's now 3-1 Angels.
Boy, you almost thought at some point Jared's going to make somewhat of a mistake against a great hitter like David Ortiz, and he did there, and Torrey Hunter picked him up. But it's a fastball again, and right down the middle part of the plate. David Ortiz had a great swing at it, but Torrey picked him up, made a nice play in center field to prevent a big inning situation. Run scores, but it could have easily been second and third with still only 1 out.
Now 2 outs and a runner at first base. Kevin Youkilis, the batter for the Red Sox. He had a base hit his first time up. Weaver drives Pedroia back in there. And they might try it here with Pedroia running. Youkilis checked his swing, but it'll cost him a strike.
This Red Sox lineup is dangerous. You have a nice 3-0 lead starting this third inning, but all of a sudden with that speed at the top and David Ortiz hit number 3, and now Youkilis. It's a tough lineup to go through.
Pedroia running this time, and he's in there pretty easily. That's the second stolen base of the inning for the Red Sox.
And Jared, because of his delivery, the turning of the back, and all that deception, it's a very difficult task at times for a catcher to throw out a base runner. It's not the fastest to the plate, so he relies more to be able to keep the runner close with his move. And Jared Weaver definitely has a good move, but once he's going towards home, it's a difficult task for a catcher to throw out a base runner.
This is the 25th pitch in this inning. Youkilis still has the all-time home run lead in the history of the University of Cincinnati, where he was a star for the Bearcats. Two and one. Three and one, and this is turning into a very long inning, even though Weaver's only given up one run. It's been a long inning for him.
Boston always known to be a very patient club, and Mike Scioscia knows that, and he's looking for Jared to be more of a get a couple quick out pitch to contact type pitcher this year to be able to go deeper into games.
Youkilis hits a fly ball right field. Gary Matthews is there, and the Angel right fielder makes the catch. The Red Sox get on the board. After 2.5, Angels 3, Boston 1. Inning, Rory Marcus and Mark Gubicza from Angel Stadium tonight. The Angels are back on the field. The batter, Torrey Hunter, and he takes ball one after the tragic happenings of the last couple of days. One ball, one strike to Torrey Hunter. Wakefield has been a little bit off target with that knuckleball the first couple of innings, trying to get off to a good start in this inning. Torrey Hunter in 2006 in Minnesota won an award as the Twins player who best fosters healthy relations with the media. He grounds that one to third base, and Lowell throws him out. But Torrey has certainly not fallen short in that category here in Southern California, has he?
No, he hasn't. And, he's certainly a big player, big communicator as far as his team as they try to go through the healing process of the tragic death of Nick Adenhart, too. And you can see that the way the team rallied behind him. And there's like John Lackey. Guys that just have that sense about them, their ability to be able to communicate, make everyone feel just a little bit better.
Kendry Morales takes strike one. We found out the Texas Rangers won't go undefeated today. Tigers beat Texas 15-2. Texas came off that series where they really dominated the Indians, and you thought maybe it's just that the Rangers are that great offensively. But tonight, Cleveland's behind Toronto 13-7. So that Cleveland pitching staff's off to a slow start. Meanwhile, Kotaras is just trying to hang in there against that knuckleball that he has to catch.
I think at times the best way to describe it for a catcher trying to catch a knuckleball is almost trying to catch butterflies. Heard that expression before, and looking at Kotaras today, it's been the case. It's tough.
The knuckleball works there and strikes out Morales. That's the second out in the inning. Angel fans, there is still time to take advantage of the great Angels-Red Sox ticket special for tomorrow and Sunday's game. Great seats are still available, and the Angels have that ticket special still going. Fans can purchase 3 and get 1 free in select seating areas by using the password ANGELS at the Angel Stadium ticket window or angelsbaseball.com. They'll even give you that deal if you're a Red Sox fan and use the password ANGELS. You can't use the password Red Sox, though.
There's a number of Red Sox fans here, and of course tons of Angel fans.
Sometimes side by side. It's 2-1 to Gary Matthews. Oh, that was a butterfly right there.
58 miles an hour. See, that's one of those things where if you're a pitching coach, how do you teach that?
I don't think you do.
No, it's impossible.
And another good knuckleball strikes out Matthews. A 1-2-3 inning for Tim Wakefield. Angels as we move to the fourth inning at the Big A tonight, where there are plenty of good souvenirs still available.
Lots of them. Lots of red.
Jared Weaver struggled through the third inning, although he was able to minimize it to just one run. They'll face J.D. Drew, Jason Bay, and Mike Lowell here in the fourth. When you look at the Red Sox and then you look at the Yankees on paper, in your mind, which is the better team?
I think the Red Sox. I mean, especially with, well, it's easier to say now with A-Rod not available in that lineup, but overall, no question.
Sean Figgins makes the play, a high throw, but they get him. Drew is retired. Time for the Aflac trivia question now. Which pitcher earned the only win for the Angels in the 2008 American League Division Series against Boston? Jason Bay up there. He walked his first time up. Okay, well, let's just say the Yankees with A-Rod.
Even then, I think, you know, this Red Sox team is so deep in their rotation. I know with CC Sabathia and A.J. Burnett joining that rotation with the Yankees, but they got John Smoltz, who I saw earlier today walking out to play catch. I mean, they're so deep in the rotation. Brad Penny. There's John Smoltz right there. He's a Cy Young winner in the past.
The Yankees beat Kansas City today, 4-1.
Make an argument John Smoltz one of the best postseason pitchers. Him and former Red Sox Curt Schilling of our era.
It still looks funny to see Smoltz not in a Braves uniform. It's a foul ball to right field by Bay.
It is pretty amazing. But when you think about it, he actually was a member of the Tigers, traded for Doyle Alexander back in the day before he made his debut with the Atlanta Braves. And boy, he's been a great pitcher.
One and two, and Bay is out. Weaver gets the strikeout.
Another good changeup by Jared against the right-handed batter. That's what we like to see as a young pitcher develops. Have that confidence to throw a changeup even to a right-handed batter. A lot of times you'll throw it to a lefty, but here is a perfect pitch. Jason Bay way out in front.
Mike Lowell for the Red Sox. We're talking about Smoltz. He broke in with the Braves in 1988. It's hard to imagine, isn't it? That you'd still be wearing the Major League uniform.
I believe he's a Hall of Famer, especially with those 154 saves. Postseason numbers. Kind of like a similar guy would be Dennis Eckersley, who's in the Hall of Fame.
Two and two to Mike Lowell. Two balls, two strikes. Three to one Angels in the fourth inning. And there's a shot hit foul by Lowell.
was way out in front of that fastball. He was looking fastball. Open up his hips a little bit early, tried to pull that down the line. There's going to come back down with a changeup after he saw that swing on it.
And it strikes him out. The changeup works. And we go to the bottom of the fourth inning. 3-1 Angels.
Relief. Jared Weaver pitched a scoreless 11th and 12th. What a game that was. Game 3.
Wasn't that
Game 4 also. For a short series, those 5-game series are so tough.
And the first knuckleball to Jeff Mathis is outside. Jeff had a base hit to left field his first time up. 2-0 to the Angels catcher, who was also recruited as a quarterback by Florida State. Bobby Bowden wanted Jeff Mathis. Three and 0.
That's got to be hard if you're a batter. You know you're going to have a take there. You're going to take a 70-mile-an-hour fastball right down the middle. Not easy.
He pops that one up. Foul, but playable. Fans celebrate Halo history Tuesday, April 21st. All fans in attendance will receive a free 5-foot by 3-foot banner commemorating the achievements of Vlad Guerrero, courtesy of FS West. This banner features the only 2 players in history with 11 consecutive seasons of 25 or more home runs and hitting over 300 at the same time. Purchase your tickets at angelsbaseball.com or the Angels Stadium box office. Is Turris the batter for the Angels? 1 ball, 1 strike. Boston lost to Tampa Bay last night. Tonight, Tampa Bay a loser in Baltimore. The Orioles off to a decent start. A 5-4 win over the Rays tonight. It's 3-1 to his Turris. Popped in the air on the right side, backpedaling and making the catch, Kevin Youkilis. 2 outs, and now Wakefield, who was struggling, has retired 6 in a row.
Well, he was on the ropes when Vlad hit that rocket. Shortstop for second base, I should say, for a double play. He was in trouble. Had a tough time commanding that knuckleball, falling behind consistently, but it's been very good since that double play ball.
This hasn't been his favorite stadium to pitch lately.
0-4 with a 9, yes, and he's overall in his career, he's 5-7. It's been a tough place for him.
2 balls, no strikes to Sean Figgins. And 3-0 now to Figgins. Three and one.
Well, he went 3-0 fastball when Jeff Mathis, same thing here to Sean Figgins, came back again with another fastball.
Figgins on base with 2 outs.
In our jacketed box, outside the box, Wakefield had a tough time with that knuckleball. Tough one to catch, too, for guitars behind the plate. The dancing knuckleball. Difficult pitch to catch, even with you using a first baseman type mitt behind the plate.
Howie Kendrick knocked in 2 with a base hit last time up. You talked about it earlier, Gooby. It's hard enough for Kataris to catch the pitch, let alone make an accurate throw to second. If Figgins should try to steal right here.
Well, with an 0-1 count, there's a time where Terry Francona could put a pitch out on to give him a better chance to throw him out.
There he goes. And they do not get it. Not even close. It was only a matter of time before Figgy with 2 outs would try to steal that bag.
Amazing. 392 career stolen bases allowed. Most only Randy Johnson at 450, but that's another great jump. There's no way. It's tough enough to catch that. Sean Figgins with a great jump. That's why the Angels have had success against Wakefield, particularly here, stealing bases.
1-2 to Howie Kendrick. Kendrick strikes out on that dancing knuckleball. The Angels leave Figgins at second. or visit the Angel Stadium box office to purchase your tickets today. Fifth inning, 3-1 Angels. And Jared Weaver's first pitch to Jed Lowry is low and inside, ball one. That's Adenhart's number. Weaver threw a changeup to strike out Mike Lowell to end the last inning that would have made Nick Adenhart proud. Torrey Hunter in center field puts away the shallow fly ball.
Well, you're right, Rory. He threw some great changeups to Jason Giambi in that game the other night. I'll tell you what, I'm going to take this to heart forever. What he did in that sixth inning. Mike Scioscia gave him the confidence to go back out there after he had the lead, qualify for the win through 5 innings. Mike Scioscia let him go back out there, responded. 1, 2, 3 innings, 7 pitches, 7 strikes of outstanding stuff.
Kataris grounds one into right field, a base hit for the Red Sox catcher. And when he left the ball game, talking about Adenhart, it looked like it could very well be a W for him. The Angels had a nice lead and ended up losing the ball game, but Adenhart certainly pitched well enough to win. And Mike Scioscia pointed out tonight that he had become enough of a pro that Adenhart wasn't walking around with his chest puffed out or crowing about his great performance that night, because he knew the ball club had lost the game. So he was very quiet and subdued in the clubhouse after the game. Ellsbury at the plate. Strike one. So there are a lot of different ways you show you're a pro, and Adenhart was definitely a pro. Hard hit ball to first base. They get Kataris at second, and that's all. Oh, double play. Boy, it looked like Ellsbury would beat that return throw, but he did not. And the inning is over for the Red Sox. Play, and a close play at first.
Well, he worked hard in his fielding in spring training. That's a nice play. The ball was hit hard by Ellsbury. Good throw to second base, too, and able to get the turn. Right-handed batter. You see the steps here by Ellsbury. He was caught even between really stretching out, trying to get the bag, and short stepped just a little bit, and able to Angels to turn that double play.
Bobby Abreu leads off the bottom of the fifth. Bobby has a walk and a hit tonight. The Marines.com leaders of the game. There are some numbers for Bobby Abreu, and he's up there with a couple of pretty good players. And there's another base hit for Bobby Abreu. His second of the night. He's been on base 3 times.
Well, Angel fans got to get used to that. Bobby Abreu on base was all the time, working the count. Talk about his patience to walk, but also 2 base hits. Going the other way, good swing and knuckleball. If you try to do too much against a knuckleball, that's when you pop it up. The outside part of the plate, went with it, didn't try to pull it, gets the base hit.
Vladimir Guerrero at the plate for the Angels. A strike to Vladdy. When the Angels scored 3 times in the second inning, the hardest hit ball of the inning was probably the one Vladdy hit, but he hit it right at Pedroia for a double play. He gets a base hit here into left field.
Well, they always say it evens out in baseball, although I'll beg to differ at times. He hits that ball in the rocker.
Didn't feel like it to you, huh?
No, not at all. But hit that rocker for a double play. This is another one off the end of the bat. You see that so often with the knuckleball. Dancing away. That ball's off the outside corner and below the knees, and yet Vlad's so strong, still able to make that swing and get that ball in the outfield for a base hit. Nobody really does that with Vlad. Nobody can do that.
I think you're right.
Unbelievable.
Now Torrey Hunter with 2 on and nobody out. One and 0 to Torrey. This is the first game of a 3-game series between the Angels and Red Sox. Two and 0.
It's a big inning too for the Angels to capitalize, get some more runs. After that second inning, which they scored 3 runs, Wakefield has shut them down. Now a great opportunity now with a 2-0 count. First and second.
3-0. If he throws in that 70-mile-an-hour fastball down the middle of the plate, will Torrey swing at it?
Yeah, I don't think he's taking this one. And I'm not so sure Wakefield's going to throw that 3-0 fastball right down the middle at 71 here. Especially a guy that has 3 home runs against him in his career.
He threw it, but not for a strike. Bases loaded, nobody out. Gets Javier Lopez up in the bullpen.
Pitch coach John Farrell's going to go out there to give Lopez some time. This inning falls apart for Tim Wakefield.
But again, if you're talking about a pitcher who's having trouble with the knuckleball, what can the pitching coach tell him?
It's a tough one. And basically, you just got to sit. The thing is, with a knuckleball, you have to do, first and foremost, is stay back in your mechanics. If you rush out in front at all, your elbow drops at all, that knuckleball has no chance of being a strike.
Abreu at third, Guerrero at second, Hunter at first, Kendry Morales at the plate. Kendry batted with the bases loaded in the first inning and fouled out to the catcher. So here's another chance for Morales. 1-1.
I think dangerous when you're going up against a knuckleball pitcher. You do have a lot of pop-ups. So it's not a foregone conclusion. If you get a ball elevated, you're going to be able to at least get a sac fly. It's a tough one. A lot of infield flies against a knuckleball pitcher.
That one's popped up. Shallow right field. Drew's going to catch it. Will the Angels try to score the run here? No. No sense with nobody out to take a chance there and send Abreu. He probably would not have made it anyway. So it is a pop-up to the shallow outfield. And Kendry now a little bit of a frustrating night going. He has left 6 men on base. And his other at-bat was a strikeout.
That knuckleball again. I remember George Brett, my old teammate in Kansas City, when he used to face the great knuckleballer Charlie Huff. So not only was it a difficult task to face a knuckleballer, but the next few days after that, they ruin your swing because you end up being more of an uppercut. That's why you see so many more pop-ups against a knuckleballer than you would be against any other pitcher.
Gary Matthews pops one up. That one's playable. Youkilis backpedaling. That's out number 2. And the Angels, who had the bases loaded with nobody out, now have them loaded with 2 outs. And if Wakefield gets out of this, that would really be a shot in the arm to the Red Sox.
Especially against this lineup that the Red Sox feature. You want to expand that lead as much as possible. Still, anytime with a knuckleball, not only do you get a chance to get pop-ups, but you also get wild pitch and pass balls that allow a run to score too.
Jeff Mathis had a single his first time up. Knuckleball just missed. Two outs, bases loaded. And Mathis whacks one to left, but it's caught by Jason Bay. The Angels load him up with nobody out, but get turned aside. And in part by H&R Block. When you've got H&R Block, you've got people. We have people here at the Big A tonight. A big crowd for the Angels and Red Sox. Three to 1 Angels as we go to the 6th. And the 2, 3, and 4 hitters for Boston coming up against Weaver, who has done a good job tonight, but thrown a lot of pitches.
Outstanding stuff so far. Tough part of the lineup to go through the Red Sox, though.
Pedroia had a walk last time up. And we've talked a lot about Nick Adenhart tonight. Now, what about this pitching rotation for the Angels? Nick Adenhart was going to get the ball every 5th day, at least until either Santana or Lackey or Escobar was ready, but they're not ready. And you don't have Nick now, does it? Nice play by Sean Figgins to rob Pedroia of a hit.
What about an athletic play? It's that reactionary position, third base. Sean Figgins showing some skills getting up. This ball was scolded. The inside part of the plate, Pedroia, but Sean Figgins, that's a huge play, especially with David Ortiz coming up.
And that's the first out. Here is Big Papi, who has driven in the only Red Sox run tonight with a sacrifice fly. The Angels obviously have already tested their depth when they had Adenhart here, and Shane Lukes will pitch, and Dustin Mosley is already here. So what do you think they're thinking of in practical terms right now?
Well, I mean, it's going to be up to Tony Regas and Ken Force, their assistant general manager, just to be able to come up with a game plan. It's not going to be easy. You're right, they've tested. They went down to the minor leagues and really gave some guys some chances in spring training, and they stepped forward and did their job. Dustin Mosley, Shane Lukes, Nick Adenhart threw outstanding in spring training, had at that point the most innings pitched in spring. You know, Irvin Santana and John Lackey and Escobar still a ways away. Right now, the Angels with a 24-man roster. President Dennis Kuhl talked about that in the pregame, that they have a 24-man roster in honor of Nick Adenhart, but they're going to have to make that decision at some point. A tough decision, but a decision they'll have to make.
Mike Scioscia obviously will be keenly involved in that, and even though his mind and his heart have been with Nick Adenhart and his family, in practical terms, they are going to have to decide what they want to do and what their options are. They're not going to have a 24-man roster for the rest of the season. 2-2 to Ortiz, who swings and goes down.
Great changeup. Jared Weaver becoming almost an out pitch for him over the last year and a half. Ortiz thinking and seeing fastball, but that 81-mile-an-hour changeup gets him way out in front. The location was perfect.
2 outs for Youkilis. Strike one. One ball, one strike to Kevin Youkilis. And he pops that one foul. If you're not able to come out here and join us this weekend, the Red Sox will be back. Boston comes back in on the 12th of May. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. 12th, 13th, and 14th.
It's the first drop down breaking pitch Jared Weaver's thrown tonight. Threw 3 straight fastballs at Youkilis. Got ahead of the count, then tried to trick him on a slider from 3/4. Good pitch. So now you got him set up now for a couple different pitches. You go fastball back inside on him, or you can drop the conventional breaking pitch.
1-2 to Kevin Youkilis. Breaking ball away. Jared has Nick's initials and number on the side of his hat. And he's pitched well tonight. One more out and he'll match the innings pitched of Adenhart 2 nights ago. One is just fouled down the third baseline by Youkilis. Marvin Hudson, the third base umpire, was right there.
Well, that was extremely close, but the proper call. Just out in front, just enough to be able to hook that foul.
Now this will be the 9th pitch of this at bat to Youkilis. And pitch number 90 on the night for Jared Weaver. And he strikes him out. A 1-2-3 sixth inning for Jared Weaver. Fans, check out the new R Performance vehicles at your local Jaguar dealer or on JaguarUSA.com. Bottom of the sixth, still 3-1 Angels. Meiser is Torres, representing the bottom of the Angels order tonight. And he hits a pop fly foul, first base side. Youkilis takes a look, but it's out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike to Meiser. 0 for 2 tonight. And still looking for his first hit of 2009. Meiser grounds one to the left of Lowell. Nice play by Mike Lowell, who gets up and throws him out. Good play by Mike Lowell at third base.
Great third baseman. Showing some tremendous range. He came back from surgery himself. The end of the playoffs last year, he missed the last couple games against the Angels, having that hip surgery. Very quick there.
He was trying so hard to play, but he just couldn't go. Figgins has been on base a couple of times tonight and scored a run. And he's also driven in a run. This one's to shortstop. Lowry guns it across to get him. 2 outs in the Angels' sixth. The Angels got 3 runs in the second inning off of Tim Wakefield, but they've been quiet ever since. We'll see if leaving the bases loaded last inning comes back to haunt them. The Angels had the bases loaded with nobody out and failed to score. Howie Kendrick hits one behind third to Lowell, and he makes another strong throw. The Angels go down in order in the sixth inning. After 6, 3-1 Angels. still in there as we go to the 7th inning. He'll face J.D. Drew to lead off the 7th. Having already thrown 90 pitches, 91 now, Mike Scioscia has Jose Arredondo warming up behind Weaver just in case anything starts happening here in the 7th. There's Jose getting ready.
Yeah, Jared Weaver was slowed a little bit by some arm issues in spring training, so that pitch limit probably right around 100 to 110 at the most tonight.
That was close to Drew. Weaver struck out the last 2 batters of the 6th inning. Almost had Drew there.
Well, that changeup. The 0-1 pitch to a perfect changeup, set him up with a fastball just off the inside corner and back out with another changeup. Jared's not afraid to throw back-to-back changeups either here, especially ahead of the count as he is on J.D. Drew.
And he strikes Drew out. The 3rd consecutive strikeout for Weaver.
And that was that changeup once again, a perfect spot. Great arm action too. Running away from the left-handed batter, catch the corner, gets J.D. way out in front for the punch out.
8 strikeouts for Weaver tonight. And the batter is Jason Bay. Figgins makes the play. Weaver has it going here in the late innings now.
Well, we showed that one just before he started his warm-up. He tapped on that number of Nick Adenhart out in the outfield for inspiration. And he's definitely inspired tonight, throwing the ball outstanding. 96 pitches so far here, 66 of them for strikes. Outstanding strikes.
There's Nick Adenhart, who had a great 6th inning in his last outing. Mike Lowell takes ball 1. Lowell's 0 for 2 tonight. Foul near the Angel dugout. $41,385 fans here tonight. Two balls, 1 strike. The next pitch Weaver throws will be number 100 on the night for Jared. Mike Scioscia is not taking his eyes off of Weaver right now. Jared's just kind of walking around, but Scioscia is watching. Three and 1 to Lowell. And there's a shot toward left field that'll drop in there for a hit. One hopped by Abreu in left. So Jared fell behind to Mike Lowell, then came in with the fastball, and Lowell hit it hard. And I think that's going to be it. Yep. That was Weaver's last batter. But Jared had a good outing tonight. 6 2/3 innings. He leaves with a 3-1 lead. Jared Weaver gets a standing ovation.
special. Tapped on him for inspiration going before he started and as he's leaving. What a great game, too. 6 2/3. 8 strikeouts, only 4 hits allowed.
Our in and out burger, who's in, who's out. Jose Arredondo is in. He comes in with 2 outs here in the 7th inning. And Jed Lowry at the plate for Boston. Lowry tonight 0 for 2. One ball, 1 strike. Two and 1. Arredondo had a great year last year. Some thought he might end up the closer this season. And the Angels got Brian Fuentes. Arredondo is incredibly valuable in this role. He's gone to a full count against Lowry.
Yeah, when it was 2-2 count, you thought in the lines that he would come in with that split finger. Now, 3-2 count. Lowry, a pretty solid hitter himself. Gonna challenge him here.
He got him looking. Strike 3 called to Jed Lowry. Jared Weaver in the Angel dugout. Still 3-1. The Angels have also extended the buy 3 tickets, get 1 free offer to include the Easter Sunday game against the Red Sox. This offer is available in select seating areas when using the password ANGELS at the Angels Stadium ticket window or angelsbaseball.com. The new pitcher for the Red Sox is Justin Masterson. Masterson, a big guy.
He's got a good fastball too, with good sink action, 90 to 94 mile an hour. He also slider, and a changeup. He's been used both as a starter and as a setup man for this valuable bullpen for the Red Sox.
6'6", 250 pounds, 24 years old. And Bobby Abreu to lead off the bottom of the 7th inning for the Angels. Scott Shields getting ready for the 8th inning for the Angels. Masterson became, and there's a ground ball back up the middle for a base hit by Abreu.
What a night for Bobby Abreu. 3 hits and a walk on all 4 times.
Leadoff man on for the Angels. Masterson, a tall guy, but he couldn't flag that one down.
Running fastball. Good hitters know what to do with that when it's on the outside part. Hit it up the middle, and that's what Bobby did.
Guerrero at the plate. Vladi takes a strike. Masterson pitched in the postseason at the age of 23 years old last year against Tampa Bay. One of the youngest Red Sox players ever to pitch in a postseason game. There goes Abreu. He's in there at second base. Boy, he is having a night.
Boy, you have to have a pretty good jump because Masterson's quick to the plate. He's about a 1-2 to 1-3. Bobby just barely gets that foot underneath before Pedroia put the tag on. Now in scoring position for Vlad.
1-1 to Vladi. It's a pretty good breaking ball.
Great depth to that breaking ball, too. From that arm angle he comes out for a right-handed batter, very difficult to be able to stay back.
1-2 to Vladi.
Well, you're talking about going east and west. You know that slider on the outside part. You see how difficult it is from this angle. If you're a right-handed batter, he's throwing 3/4. Hard, heavy sink. Threw that slider on the outside corner against Vlad and threw that 2-seam fastball, ran it inside. Going east and west with that arm angle.
Popped up on the right side. Youkilis might have a play. Trying to lean in, he runs out of room. Well, the little weather system we had here has passed through, but it's gone down south apparently. The Padres are in a rain delay in San Diego tonight.
Youkilis got himself in position to try to make the play, but just ran out of room in that camera well area. The effort was there, unable to make the play. Vlad's still alive.
Two and two to Vlad Guerrero. Tapped to the left side, tough play. Mike Lowell, no play. An infield single for Guerrero.
You see Vlad right off the get-go again. That nasty movement, that fastball ran in on Vlad's hand. Vlad sensed the base hit, ran down hard down the line, got an infield base hit. That ball ran way in on Vlad's kitchen by Masterson. But he got a base hit out of it and advanced the base runner.
First and third, nobody out. And the Angels with another golden opportunity to extend their lead. Torrey Hunter at the plate. Abreu at third base. And Vlad Guerrero at first. Torrey Hunter walked his last time up. He's also been hit by a pitch tonight. And he hits one in the air into center field. Abreu waiting to tag up at third base. The ball is caught by Ellsbury, and Abreu scores from third. 4-1 Angels.
Great job by Torrey. Set up by a nice base running job by Bobby Abreu, stealing second, going third on the little dribbler by Vlad, scoring on a sac fly by Torrey Hunter. Nice job. Trying to get a pitch. When you're in that spot as a batter, you're trying to get a pitch elevated enough to be able to hit a fly ball, and he did so with authority to center. Slider, hanger, got it up. That's what he wanted. It's something up in the zone to be able to drive in the air to get the run across. Nice job by Torrey.
Now Kendry Morales, who has had one of the more frustrating nights at the plate tonight. He popped out to the catcher with the bases loaded in the first inning and popped out to right field with the bases loaded in the fifth inning. In between those two bats, he has a strikeout. One and 0 to Kendry. 1 out, 1 on. Vlad enjoys playing the game, doesn't he?
He's probably thinking, why were you thrown over to first base with me here?
Well, the way he went streaking down that line. 1 ball, 1 strike to Morales. One thing you have to like about Vlad and players like Sean Figgins, they're not afraid to smile out there and enjoy playing this game. In the air to right field, J.D. Drew goes back on that ball, but it's over his head. And Kendry Morales comes through this time with a double. He would rather have had that one with the bases loaded, but he'll take it just the same.
Yeah, I think he was just happy to get Wakefield out of there. He threw him so many tough dancing knuckleballs. This time a hard fastball up, just enough up, but he drove this ball hard off the right center field wall. Great swing by Kendry Morales.
Second and third with 1 out, and Gary Matthews stepping in. Gary's 0 for 2. He walked and scored back in the second inning.
And they're going to walk him here to set up the possibility of a double play.
I'm not sure Kotaris changed to the more conventional catcher's glove with the knuckleballer out of there. It looks like he still has the same one, almost the first baseman's glove.
Smaller though. I think he did change it just by the color of the leather.
Yep.
Again, why Terry Francona did this with Gary Matthews Jr., switch hitter, batting left-handed. Much better successful against a guy like Masterson with all that sink a left-handed batter would be. So now Matthews, a right-handed batter with that sink, runs in on their hand. It's tough to get it through that infield.
Bases loaded. Vlad Guerrero at third. Kendry Morales at second. Gary Matthews at first. The Angels leading by 3 and trying to extend it with Mathis at the plate. Mathis against Masterson. One and 0. The Angels have 9 hits tonight. Mathis has 1 grand slam in his career. Two and 0 to Jeff.
Good job showing a lot of patience. That first pitch, always the most difficult one in a bases loaded situation, as John Farrell's coming back out to Masterson to talk to him about the pitch sequence. He took that tough fastball in, because you want to do that as a pitcher. The first one, go inside and try to jam him. Mathis took it. Now took this one out on a great fastball count. be able to drive one and expand this lead.
Well, Jeff Mathis had a base hit back in the second. This crowd, over 41,000 here tonight. They came in a little bit somber, quiet. And then the game slowly started to take over. 2-1 to Mathis. One out, bases loaded for the Angels. In the air, foul.
Well, it's so tough for a right-handed batter to do anything with Masterson going fastball in every single pitch, 4 in a row. Now the count even. Jeff Mathis is trying to get this run across.
A full count with the bases loaded. No room to wiggle for Masterson now. He's 3-2 to Jeff Mathis. And the fans on their feet. As Mathis grounds it into left field. That scores Guerrero. Here's Morales to the plate. Mathis drives in 2 with a base hit. And the Angels now lead it 6-1. Well, Nick Adenhart, no doubt, looking down with that smile on his face.
Proud of his battery mate, Jeff Mathis, coming through, and good buddy Jerry Weaver throwing the way he threw. Got to a full count, 3-2. Another sinker, got it through the hole for a base hit, drove in 2. That was a tough pitch, but Jeff Mathis did his job.
Now Meiser is Turris at the plate. One and 0 to Meiser. How about Meiser? We always talk about what a clutch hitter he is. The numbers don't lie, Gooby.
Look at the names he's in there with, too. Meiser, outstanding.
Slowly to second. Pedroia can only go to first base. So the Angels runners move up to second and third. Now with 2 outs. And we'll see if Sean Figgins can drive them in.
Boy, it's never enough. You got to keep piling on when you're facing a team like the Red Sox.
Well, we found that out against the Oakland A's 2 nights ago. Figgins, the 8th man to bat in the inning. Oh and 1. Figgy with a double tonight. One ball, one strike to Sean Figgins. Two and 1. The Angels have met the Red Sox in the division series in the playoffs 3 times in the last 5 seasons. 2 and 2. The Red Sox last year won the 4th and final game in that series on a walk-off walk. 2-2 to Figgy. lifted to left field. Jason Bay goes back and makes the catch. But the Angels add 3 runs and now have a 6-1 lead after 7.
Sean Figgins showing tremendous range from his knees. Going to bounce. Sean Figgins a little bit frustrated. That's one of his plays as a first baseman. Kenny Morales not playing a ton of games there. We'll get a chance to scoop that later on.
Yes, he will. And it's now 6-3 Angels. Here comes Scott Shields. How'd they score that? In the 8th inning, making it a little closer. Scott Shields now trying to get the final out here in this 8th inning.
Yeah, and he's had a tough time against the Sox throughout his career. 2-4 record, but that ERA at 7.26.
J.D. Drew at the plate for Boston. That was ruled a single and an error on Figgins, that last ground ball by Youkilis.
J.D. Drew's had some success against Scott Shields, 3 for 6, including a home run.
Pops him up into shallow left field, and Abreu makes the catch. The Sox get 2. We go to the bottom of the 8th, 6-3 Angels. Bobby Abreu has quite a night going. 3 hits, 2 stolen bases, a walk and a run scored. It's been a great night for Abreu.
Tremendous job. That's why they got him over here, to be able to do these type of things. These fabulous game for Bobby Abreu. Also his first game. Made a couple plays out left since 1997.
That's a long time.
Quite a few years.
Javier Lopez, the new pitcher for the Red Sox. 2-0 last year, 2.43.
A lot of games, 70 games. He's a slinger. Throw fastball 84 to 88, slider, and a changeup.
Howie Kendrick leads off the bottom of the 8th. With Abreu on deck. Two and 0 to Howie Kendrick. Angels leading the Red Sox 6-3. Kendrick fouls one away. A couple of day games coming up now, tomorrow afternoon and Sunday afternoon. Sunday's game is at 12:35. Two and 2 to Howie Kendrick. Kendrick had a single to left in the second inning tonight. Check swing. Did he go around? He did. Strike 3. Howie's not so sure about that one.
That was a tough pitch by Lopez. And Howie to swing out in front. Hides the ball so well. Deceptive. All speed pitch. Barely checked it. Joe West, home plate umpire, didn't even ask for help down there at first. Picked him up himself.
Now Bobby Abreu. He's been on base all 4 times tonight. Strike 1.
That career on base percentage, though, over 400, 405 for Bobby Abreu. Amazing.
To Pedroia at second base with the pitcher covering, they get the out. So an unusual 4-1 put out there. Fans visit the official online shop of the Angels at angelsbaseball.com. Browse the latest selection of authentic team gear, including clubhouse caps, t-shirts, jerseys, collectibles, and more. Get your gear straight from the source. Visit the angelsbaseball.com shop today.
And get back that on-base percentage of 405 for Bobby Abreu. It's amazing. That's all consists of hits, walks, hit by pitch. Working the count so well. Get himself into good, predictable hitting counts. And also able to work the walk and get hit on occasion.
Vlad Guerrero takes high and outside. Well, if you have somebody getting on base 4 times out of every 10, that helps you win, doesn't it?
That's why you see him amongst leaders in stolen bases, runs scored, RBI, all-around player, Bobby Abreu. Another guy that's on base and rounds the base a lot, Vlad Guerrero.
Vladdy lines that one into right field. It's well hit, and it's caught by Drew. Nice play by J.D. Drew. We go to the 9th. The Angels lead by 3. and all day starting yesterday. This memorial tribute to Nick Adenhart. He was on the players' minds when the game started, of course. And there is the tribute to Nick out in center field on the wall. Fans brought signs. It was a moment of silence, of course. His jersey's been hanging in the dugout. Weaver pointed up when he came out of the ball game. And now the Angels are 3 outs away from a win. As we go to the 9th inning, and Jason Bay leads off for Boston. Shields stays in and gets strike one. One ball, one strike to Jason Bay.
Especially with a couple of right-handed batters, Jason Bay and Mike Lowell on deck. Mike Scioscia staying with the right-hander to Scott Shields.
Two balls into strike. Two and two. Full count to the leadoff man for the Red Sox in the 9th inning.
What is the spot right now after Scott Shields? You're up by 3. As Mike Scioscia looks on, you just got to challenge it with the fastball. Go right down the middle. Trust that movement he has on that two-seam fastball.
Well, that's what he did, but it didn't work out. That's ball 4. The Red Sox get the leadoff man on. Brian Puentes is loosening up and should be about ready by now in the Angel bullpen. Mike Butcher leaning up on that railing, watching Shields. Dean Weeble comes by and says something to him. Mike Lowell, the batter, grounds one to Howie Kendrick. He flips to his tourist, double play. And with one pitch, some of the concern goes away.
Well, that was a good moving fastball again. Scott Shields has one of the best fastballs in the game when he stays with his mechanics. That's what Mike Butcher was looking in on. Perfect ground ball to Howie. Flip over to Meiser. It turns 2.
Two outs. And here's Lowry. Fly ball left field. Abreu has it, and the ball game is over. With Nick Adenhart in their hearts, just another Halo victory.
We took it about a perfect